Three. The nickname Redskins has been a controversial topic in the National Football League for years. During this time of sensitivity, pressure has been placed on the Washington Redskins football team to erase the reference to Native Americans as Redskins as the mascot of the Washington, D.C. professional football team. Has the woke culture affected you? This has affected thousands of American football fans. Since 1937, the Washington Redskins professional football team has resided in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. In 2014, the debate around the use of Redskins as a mascot started, and until recently, the controversy brewed until 2021. The NFL and the public placed enough pressure to change the mascot. On top of the argument, you have supporters of the mascot Redskins as a time tradition and paying homage to Native Americans. On the opposing side are those who believe this is a racial slur and degrading to the Native Americans. My first point will discuss the Washington Redskins changing their name because Redskins is a racial slur used against Native Americans. My second point will discuss the history behind the name and why it shouldn't be changed because it pays homage to Native ancestors. My third point will present how racial inequality in communities around the country played a role in the changing of the football team's name. The first point that will be covered is the term Redskin. It is a racial slur against Native Americans used way back when. The Washington Redskins have used this mascot to pay homage to Native Americans since 1933. In a survey completed, poll of Native Americans' view of Redskins' name finds proud most common answer. Shows the support from the Native American community as being proud to support the continued name of the word Redskins. Many natives show their support for the Washington football team to not change their mascot from Redskins. According to Bleacher Report article, despite the new calls from Congress, Washington Redskins shouldn't change their name, by Jason Perini, states, the team has already received emails from those of Native American descent stating their support of the team's name. Many people see the mascot name Redskins as racist and support the idea of a name change. According to USA Today article, 50 senators signed a letter urging the Redskins to change their team name. Today we urge you and the National Football League to send the same clear message the NBA did, that racism and bigotry have no place in professional sports. The letter also said it's time the NFL endorse a name change. The second point that will be discussed shows how the Washington Redskins pay heritage to more than just the football team's legacy. My second main point will represent how the Washington Redskins pay heritage to not just their football team, but to Native American tribes across the country. The Redskins contribute to the Native American tribes across the country. According to a Sports Illustrated article, Dan Snyder started a foundation to support Native Americans. This states, the Washington Redskins Original Americans Foundation, founded by the owner in 2014, is proof in the team's telling of its commitment to support from Native American communities. The Washington football team has lost its ways of supporting the Native American community, according to Sports Illustrated article as well. Washington team spokesperson says the foundation has never told any tribes that it could not provide resources, but is shifting its strategy. The third point will provide on how inequalities in communities have played a role in the changing of the Redskins name. The racial inequality in communities around the country played a role in the changing of the football team's name. Recent events in communities across the country have put a push on the Washington Redskins to change the name. According to a lesson plan by ADL, as a result, in 2020, the team announced, in light of recent events around the country and feedback from our community, the Washington Redskins are announcing the team will undergo a thorough review of the team's name. The Washington Redskins changing their name has nothing to do with inequality in communities around the country. according to a Pro Football Talk article. Daniel Snyder celebrated that poll and will no doubt celebrate this one as evidence continues to mount that the majority of Native Americans are not pressuring him to change the team's name. In conclusion, the points that were stated share valid points into why the Washington Redskins should change or not change their name. My first point covered how the term Redskins is a racial slur. The second point supports the Native American communities around the country. And lastly, the third point is how racial inequality has played a role into the changing of the Redskins name. Paying attention to changing the Redskins name reflects the woke culture is being spread throughout the country and has an effect on things people enjoy. The changing of the name may not seem to be important to many people, but it shows more than just a name. It shows history and pays homage to the legacy that has been laid.